It's that time of year, folks. Disagreement and debate are in the air.
But the two things that everyone knows for a fact is that topical commercials about the election are lame and Howie's Market is the best.
When I think about casting a vote, I think about the writers of Los Angeles magazine casting their votes for Howie's Market as the best butcher in town.
And when I think about policy, I think about Howie's store-wide policy of always having a parking lot barbecue every single weekend, rain or shine.
And when it comes to a ticket that everyone can support, I think of the ticket I pull at the butcher counter when I'm looking for the best meat and seafood in town.
Howie's Market also has the most qualified cabinet of appointed spirits, wines, and craft beer for all those who supported the repeal of Prohibition back in 1933.
That's right, Adam. Howie's Market are staunch defenders of the 21st Amendment of the Constitution.
God bless these United States of America, and God bless Howie's Market.
The best stocked, the best looking, and the best run grocery store in the country.
'Twas the night before the election, and only one thing is a given. My broadcast partner is voting for the guy who said, "And I love women."
And I love women.
Is that good or no?
You just sound like you got off your diet last night and had one too many martinis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fellowship, and thank you for joining us. If you're new around here, my name is Adam Hawk, and I am joined every single week by Ryan Engle, or as Jonathan Wayne Freeman calls him, Ryan Engle.
That Mission Viejo accent is something else, man.
Mission Potato. Together, we own and operate Nation Golf, a men's golf apparel company that proudly celebrates the golden era. You can follow us on Instagram at Nation Golf.
You can follow us, but you'll never see our posts.
That is correct. So you can follow us on Instagram at Nation Golf, and you can browse our timeless offerings on Al Gore's World Wide Web, where we can be found at nationgolf.com. This iPod broadcast is 107 episodes old and available wherever you get your audio, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, Ryan, we want you to listen to this show however you damn well please on whatever platform you prefer, but we only read comments that are made over on YouTube. So, if you would like your comment, question, take, whatever you have to say read right here on the program, leave your comments on our YouTube page. And with that, I welcome the aforementioned Ryan Engle, CEO, founder of Nation Golf. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Great. What a wonderful question. Thanks for asking. I'll tell you this. I think I feel a lot better than you do.
I'll be honest with you, partner, pards, bud. I am in no shape to do this show right now at all.
I know. Isn't it wild?
Yeah, I tied one on last night, and my head is pounding. I'm in a world of hurt. I'm in a hotel room. I'm going to be leaning on you today, okay?
Okay.
Do I sound that bad?
No.
All right, let's just see if I can stick to the script. Hopefully, we have our same cadence and timing to the banter that has made this podcast so damn compelling, because for only the third time in the fellowship's
Are you hiccuping now, dude? Hawk's got the hiccups, everybody. Oh, this is great, dude. This is great.
For only the third time in this show's illustrious history, we are doing it in separate locales. Earlier this summer, I did the show from Seattle, Washington, while a house of 8 people were sleeping, and I had to whisper my way through it. And back in August, on a Monday morning when I couldn't get to the studio in San Clemente, I did the show from the front seat of my wife's car because I couldn't be in the house while the kids were getting ready for school, and that podcast episode was rudely interrupted when said kids piled into said car to leave for said school. Today, I am in arguably the most beautiful place on God's green earth, Monterey, California, the heart of the central coast of the Golden State. For those that have been here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those that have not, put it on your bucket list. Australian painter Francis McComas once said in the early 1900s that Monterey and its coastline to the south is, quote, the greatest meeting of land and sea in the world, end quote. Your thoughts?
Really?
Really?
Maybe on a sunny day, yeah.
I have some very meaningful personal history in Monterey, but before we get there, Engle, I also have a list of 5 things Monterey is most famous for. While these are subjective, they are still generally agreed upon. Let's see, before I go through the list, if you can name a few. Go ahead and tell me what you think Monterey, California is known for, and I'll let you know if anything you say is on the list.
Is Carmel considered Monterey?
It's Monterey adjacent, sure, but Monterey is not known for Carmel.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is the surf locals are known for being violent towards guests, breaking windows, slashing tires.
Wow.
They protect this super wealthy neighborhood right across from a little beach break there. And it's funny because you're like, it sucks that my window's smashed, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say you probably don't live in this neighborhood. Nice to see that you're the hired security, but kind of weird to flex like that on a beach that you don't really live anywhere near. But hey, I'm sure Jim Nance is stoked that you're policing his waters. They probably smashed that window with a quarter zip.
Okay, that was absolutely wonderful. I'm glad that I asked you that question because, one, the Jim Nance take was great, and two, I love that you think one of the top 5 things Monterey is known for is a very super specific surf thing that happens in Carmel.
Yeah. You asked me. It's my life, my mind. Okay, well, let's go down the list here. The aquarium, Otter Sanctuary. They're obviously known for their golf. It's either like fucking avocados or artichokes. I don't know. I'm running out now. But yeah, the aquarium, been there. Pretty cool. Otter Sanctuary, I seen it. Pretty cool. Other than that, a little chilly. I would say where the ocean meets the islands is probably a nicer area over in Hawaii. But who am I to judge?
You did pretty well on the list. The marine life, specifically whale watching and native otters, is absolutely what Monterey is known for, and it's headlined by the #1 aquarium in these United States, the Monterey Bay Aquarium, a place that I've been a few times, sounds like you've been there as well, and a place that somehow exceeds the hype. So you did get one thing from the list. You also got another thing from the list. #2, world-renowned golf, including the Pebble Beach Golf Links and its sister courses, Spyglass Hill, the links at Spanish Bay, and Del Monte. Fun fact, Del Monte Golf Course is at the hotel where I'm staying right now, and I've played it twice, and its pin flag, which I picked up in 2016, is hanging in our boardroom in San Clemente. #3 on the list. It's not artichokes. It's not avocados. You were close. Canned sardines.
Nice.
From 1908 to 1973, Monterey was known for canning sardines, a very profitable industry during both world wars, but a sardine shortage in the mid-70s killed the business. However, there is a famous drag in downtown Monterey called Cannery Row, where you can walk through the old canneries, and as someone who has done it before, it is quite neat. There is a word that I don't use often, but perfect for this occasion. Cannery Row is neat.
I would say the tone, delivery, and subject matter of everything you just spoke of pretty much convinced the listener that doesn't sound like an exciting thing to see.
I need to remind the listener once again that I am recovering from a violent hangover, and I'm trying my best here, folks. I even packed a USB microphone. It's 6:30 in the morning. We are on remote location, and we are still doing this. I have my notes in front of me, which I wrote yesterday in the airport, and I apologize that right now
I sound like shit.
Yeah, well, but I'm trying, okay?
You got a coffee maker in that hotel?
I do, but I didn't have time because you were on time for this recording and I was not.
Wow. I was waiting for the text this morning. Hey, mate, I need 15 more minutes, mate. See you there, mate.
I met a guy from Scotland last night named Angus. He was very impressed because at the open bar, I ordered a scotch. He was not impressed with the scotch selection because the only thing they had behind the bar was Dewar's White Label, which you and I agree for what it is okay. But in Angus's mind, a man from Scotland, a Scotsman as we would call him, he was very upset at that selection.
I mean, what does it matter, dude? That's a weird thing to flex on. It's not like you're at some elevated bar experience. It's a freaking corporate wedding. At least you're having a scotch. What the fuck did he order? White wine with an ice cube? Good on you, Angus. See you over the pond. Hope your flight was all right. Fucking idiot.
Oh, man, I'm glad I woke up for this. Let me finish off the list here. So we've got marine life, we've got golf, we have Cannery Row. 17-mile drive also on the list. A beautiful 17-mile stretch of road that some have called the most scenic and pleasurable automobile ride in the entire world. What used to be a 50-cent toll road is now a $12 ride. How's that for inflation, Engle? Fifth and final on the list, the HBO hit show Big Little Lies, starring Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, and Laura Dern, took place and was filmed here in Monterey from 2017 to 2019.
That is on the list?
Of things that Monterey is most famous for? Absolutely.
So basically up until that point, that was just top four. They didn't have a fifth? That just slid into position because no one's fighting for that spot, it sounds like, if that's on the list.
Have you seen the show?
No, but I mean, now I don't want to see it. That's what that place is famous for?
Imagine a very sleepy coastal town that all of a sudden has a smash hit television drama filmed in it, because that's what happened here in Monterey. That would be like someone coming down to Dana Point and making a show.
Well, they tried, but all the kids at Dana Hills High School were getting in fights, and so they moved it to Laguna Beach. You don't know that story?
No, but my wife loves reality television, so if you could tell the story, she would be very interested.
MTV was originally going to Dana Hills High School, and they were going to call what they called Laguna Beach originally the Hills, which is ironic because later they brought in the Hills for the kids growing up going to Beverly Hills. But it was supposed to be there, and they were pitching it, and at the time, that was when the quote-unquote Lords, it was basically wrestlers and hecklers from Dana Point were, getting in fights and just being young kids and stuff. But because one kid made national news because he hit someone at a party and he went on trial and stuff, it put a big microscope on the whole situation, and MTV was like, ugh. They backpedaled real quick, and so they just went right up the street to Laguna Beach, and the rest is history. That show could have been filled in my tenure at Dana Hills, but all my buddies on the wrestling team kind of fucking blew that one. But hey, shout out to the Lords. We miss you. We hope everyone's doing okay.
So before we get off of Monterey, which is where I'm at, I actually have a very special tie to this city. 8 years ago, in line for Space Mountain at Disneyland, my dear, dear friends Jimmer and Grace Smith asked if I would officiate their wedding, which I, of course, said yes to and was one of the biggest honors of my life. But right after I said yes, they told me that it was going to be in Big Sur, which is an unbelievably gorgeous coastal area about 30 miles south of Monterey. And then they told me that there weren't going to be any guests, just the four of us, my wife, the two of them, and me. So Mina and I drove up to Monterey. This is back in 2016. We stayed at the Hyatt Regency on Del Monte Golf Course and met them in Big Sur the next day, where the four of us hiked high into the Los Padres National Forest along California's Big Sur coast, and I married them in the middle of the woods in one of the most beautiful places in the world. After that trip and that wedding ceremony, the four of us and now my two kids have taken a trip together every single year after Christmas. The first three were back to Monterey, and recently we went to Sedona, Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, San Diego, and Los Osos. We already have our annual trip this year scheduled for back in Los Osos, but here is the full circle moment. The hotel that my wife and I stayed at year one of the trip back in 2016, the year of the Big Sur wedding ceremony in the woods, is the hotel that I'm staying at right now. So despite this being a work trip, I do have, as the kids would say, all the feels. It's great to be back here.
Wow. That is a cool story.
I'm glad we're not filming this because the audience would know that you do not think that's a cool story.
No, it's funny. That sounds really cool, actually. How many times have you officiated a wedding?
I have officiated 4 different weddings.
Well, if I was a record keeper, I would give you credit for maybe 3.5, because that one with no people in the audience, although that's a really intimate, rad setting, cool idea, I don't think it counts as much as if there's like bodies there. You know what I'm saying?
Last week on the podcast, we didn't talk any golf, and that changes right now.
We'll see you in about 10 minutes, Mina. Now's the time to skip.
To my wife and to my brother, Aaron, you guys can press the 15-second forward button quite a few times and get to whatever next topic we talk about. Good call, Engle. As of November 1st, my handicap index number is at an all-time low, 11.8. Now, I know you want to laugh at that number, Engle, because 1, you're an equal opportunity hater, and 2, because you're damn near a scratch golfer yourself, and 3, because you don't think 11.8 is anything to brag about. Well, according to the USGA, as of 2024, the average handicap index number for a male golfer is 14.2, which means by definition, I am an above average golfer, and so is anyone else who is playing to a number below 14.2.
That is a very cherry-picked stat there, because the majority of the people that make up that number have no business being in the same stratosphere as your situation. What I'd like to know is, of people who own a golf company and work at a golf organization who are athletically not hindered and at a younger middle age, I'd like to know what the average is for that, because I would say you're probably up at the top. You're the one making that number grow rather than like bringing it down. So I would just say, to be fair, like if we took a pool of people more in your age, ability, and demographic, the numbers wouldn't be so beneficial to you as they are by grouping in a bunch of I play golf once a year and have a 36 handicap guy. Want to be fair here. Your thoughts?
No one who plays golf once a year is paying for a handicap. But nice try, bud. I appreciate that. I really do.
Really?
Everything balances out. That's why it's called an average. And your friend right here, your broadcast partner, your business partner, is above average, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Now, I shared this news with my older brother, Greg, because I told Greg a few years ago that I wanted to become a single-digit handicapper, and now I am closer than I've ever been. I'm an 11.8, and the goal is 9.9 or better.
You know what you need to do? You need to make your goal gnarlier. If you make your goal 9.9, you'll never get there. If you make your goal 6, you'll probably get to an 8. I'm just telling you, I've seen it a million times. I, for years, wanted to break 70 so bad, and I made 69 the number, and it's so much harder. Same with shooting par. If you made your goal, I need to shoot 3 under for 18 holes, you'd probably shoot par all the time. My point is that why make your goal just scraping the surface? Go a little deeper, Dad. Have some self-respect.
My goal is to get to single digits. I don't care if it's 9.9. I'm just saying that 9.9 gets me there. But I understand your point. Yes, dig a little deeper.
9.9 is one top tee shot away from going back to a 10. You don't want to be a 9.9. Come on, dude. You're smarter than that. Maybe.
In response to the 11.8 screenshot of my handicap that I sent to my brother Greg, he texted me back, quote, "Wow, that's awesome. Are you taking lessons, watching videos, or just grinding?" End quote. That, for what it's worth, is an extremely logical question, or in this case, questions. It makes sense, right, that I'm doing something tangible that's leading to game improvement, because when I first started keeping a handicap, I was a 16, so it would make sense that something has changed to get me from a 16 to an 11.8. But here's the interesting part and why I wanted to bring it up today and discuss it with you. I'm doing none of the things that my brother asked me about, and I'm not planning on ever doing any of those things. I'm not taking lessons and haven't had a lesson in 5 years, and the last time I took one, it messed me up for a long time. I'm not watching videos, and I think videos are the biggest crock of shit ever. For every video you find telling you one thing, you can easily find another telling you the opposite. Such a colossal waste of time. Not only is all the information contradicting, but thinking you can implement something on the course that you watched on your phone while laying down in bed is not going to work, at least not for me. And finally, to my brother Greg's question of, am I grinding? Is that a joke? Am I grinding? I have 2 kids, 2 jobs, 2 commutes. Am I grinding? Am I at the range beating balls bucket after bucket, short game area, dialing in chipping, practicing putting till the lights go off? No, I'm not grinding. Who in the world is grinding that has a family? Even if I could, I wouldn't. I'd rather just play the actual game than practice the game. So I say all that to say this. How did I go from a 16 to an 11.8? How did I go from a below average golfer to an above average golfer in a few years without lessons, video, or practice? Before we get into it, what are your thoughts, Engle?
There's 2 things in this great game. There's the game and there's practice. And each one is not the same. I'm not arguing that practice doesn't help. Definitely helps muscle memory. It definitely can help with building confidence. That all being said, none of that has anything to do with golf, the game of golf. From teeing off on 1 to putting out on 18. There are so many little subtle nuances to what it takes to golf your ball. And it's lie angle, pin location, making a decision when you're in trouble to take out the big number by pitching it out over to the side, little things like that. And then just straight up in the moment when the pressure's on and you got to get up and down or you're in the match or whatever, having the moxie to just whap in those short putts. And you could practice putting till the cows come home, but those practices have nothing to do with what it takes to make that putt in the game in the moment. And those are things that you can't teach. You have to go out there and learn. And you have to play, and surely it fucking helps when you have someone who's a little more seasoned than you showing you some tips to find your own pathway to getting the ball in the hole. But ultimately, you will not learn how to be a great player, and especially a consistent player, if you're just watching videos on how to shallow it and how to hit a draw or how to come inside or whatever, dude. Like, all that stuff is great. I have played golf with a lot of pretty swings in my day. And I will tell you this, I don't have the pretty swing. I have a homemade swing. I have a swing that is of a man who's played for a long time, since he was a little boy, who has barely had any lessons in his adolescence, and who has just basically played golf rather than practiced golf. And I'll say this, I've played with a lot of pretty swings in my day, and I have beaten the majority of them with my long, steep, cupped added law fucking fade swing that I just repeat over and over again. And it's just because I know how to get around the golf course. We're living in a time where the majority of golfers are so hyper-focused on training and practicing and fucking swing position and all this BS, in my opinion, that they're missing out on the whole thing. And the thing is playing the game. You ain't going to get a driving mat lie. And even the courses that have grass driving ranges, let me tell you something. Those things are soft and sand-filled. They're nothing like the fairway you're about to hit. There's practice and there's golf. And they have a subtle relationship together, but they are not the same thing.
I'm in no position at all to tell any golfer what to do with their golf game. I'm an 11.8 handicap who is capable of playing like a 24 on any given hole on any given day. I am a hosel rocket away from a 3-month slump. But I play borrowed Ping I2s from the 90s. I've never been fitted. I don't take lessons. I don't practice. And I'm somehow getting better. I know this sounds incredibly cliche, but everything that changed with me is mental. And my list of things that have changed with my mentality towards the game, but it's made a huge difference. One is I never give up on a hole anymore. Birdies and pars aren't the only way to save strokes. More often than not, when you are a middle to high handicapper like myself, the only way you can save strokes is by turning double bogeys into bogeys or triples into doubles. It's such an easy mental weakness to just punt on a par 4 when you're on your 5th shot and you're not even putting yet. But if you get that thing up and down for double instead of making triple or worse because you checked out 2 shots too soon, you just saved a stroke. If you do that 4 or 5 times a round, then you're 4 or 5 shots better on the scorecard. So never giving up on a hole has been a big thing for me.
That's a great point. I just would love to add to that because this is what works for me. Letting go of those mistakes or bad shots or bad breaks, being able to vent those out and then falling in love with the opportunity to do better. When you fall in love with the opportunity to hit a good one, even if it's for 6, that is the secret. I think that's just level 2 of what you're saying. I think a lot can be said about staying in the fight, but I think, like I'm saying, level 2 is falling in love with that opportunity to do better on the next one.
Extremely well said. The second thing on my list is course management, which is an outcome of accumulated golf IQ. And it's huge. People might think that you have to be able to shape shots both ways to really deploy the concept of course management. But to a lesser degree, to me, course management just means taking all of your worst tendencies out of the hole that you're playing. It's about knowing what you can do and sticking to that, even if it means laying up or playing for the center of the green instead of flag hunting or taking less than driver because the fairway is going right to left and you are a career fader of the golf ball. It also means taking your medicine when you know you need to, and even sometimes when it's a 50-50 decision. Course management, to me, an 11.8 handicapper, is being aware that you are on a designed course that is meant to throw obstacles your direction in very specific ways, and then recognizing those obstacles, hitting the brakes, and steering around them. It's also recognizing when you are on a clear roadway and you can go pedal to the metal without much consequence. Playing the same way on every hole, even when it doesn't work or fit, is stupid. So course management, to me, has really helped me out.
Yeah, if you're really going to simplify what that means, I think it comes down to this and just this. Course management is angles. Understanding those angles and staying out of the spots that will put you in jail. And then when you're in jail, to know the angles to get out of jail. That's everything. Those are things that you kind of need someone who's seen it, lived it, understands it to kind of show you that. Sitting on a driving range with a guy filming behind you with fucking balloons under your armpits and sticks on the ground and shit, that ain't going to teach you to hit that shot. I think that's just the overlying argument here is course management is great, but it's angles. And you got to look at golf kind of like billiards. The shot is given to you in front of you. There's only so much you can do to manipulate the shot. And I think the same can be said about golf. And once you start understanding the angles to each hole, and sometimes it takes playing the hole a few times to learn it, that's where you really avoid the big numbers. And that's why there's a lot of times, like I said before, I can shoot close to even par when my swing's dog shit and I'm hitting the ball everywhere because I'm keeping it out of the real trouble for the most part.
So the final part of my mental checklist that has helped me go from a 16 to an 11.8 is I've just opened up my ears and eyes to better players around me. And forget YouTube or lessons at the range where you're hitting off a mat with no pressure and a bucket of balls behind you. Learn on the course when it counts and learn from better players. Just this year, you taught me the pop stroke for knee knockers and downhill putts, and it changed the way that I play on the green in certain situations, and it saved me dozens of strokes over the last 6 months. And Jordan Brown, our good buddy over at Meadowlark, he moved my right hand more on top of the club in my grip, and it helped me to stop pulling the ball. Huge game improvement tip, and it took 5 seconds in one swing. The handiest handymen that you know didn't learn from watching YouTube or taking 100 2x4s to an electric saw with a teacher behind them. They learned from someone more experienced than them on the job site. So my whole point here is that learning where it counts and when it counts from somebody better than you is a huge mental aspect that I believe has helped me and I think can help other people.
I love it. Yeah, very well said. I agree, brother.
So did I get more athletic, more flexible? No.
Absolutely not.
Did I change my swing? No. Did I watch a bunch of videos, beat a bunch of balls, dissect a bunch of stats on my backyard launch monitor? No. Did I take lessons? Did I buy new clubs? No. I just started thinking about the golf course more and staying mentally checked in the best I could, no matter the situation. And I started knowing and accepting what I could do, and more importantly, what I can't do, and golfing my ball around that knowledge. And I picked up tips and tricks from better players around me that I could easily apply to my game. That's it. It cost me nothing. Working on your mental game is free and it works. Buying clubs and gadgets every year is expensive and it doesn't work. How was your Halloween?
Good. They're always fun when the kids this age, went down the street to the neighborhood adjacent to us where my little brother's in-laws' families live. So they're all of Palmer's cousins and aunts and uncles, and we all pushed around the neighborhood. It was great.
And you came in the next day, Friday. You had a great take about how Halloween is the one day out of the calendar year where some of the lesser purchased candy bars make their entire hay.
Is Almond Joy or Rolos, are they having like commercial spots in big games? No, Snickers is. Reese's is. Because those are the only two candy bars that sell. So Halloween has just been this big just cover for all these candy companies to just throw what they got left over for the year in these freaking confetti bags. No one gets Hershey bars. Come on, dude. You're not buying those. Yeah, you'll eat them because they're there, but the truth be told, by the time you're at the end of your little fat sack of candy, you definitely don't have Snickers and Reese's left over. You've got all of the evil stepchildren of candy treats in their smallest forms. I think you could get rid of 75% of the candy brands and no one would even know.
Such a good take. I could not agree more. Speaking of holidays, I do want to make a public service announcement. Now is the time for everyone to hear this. I say it every year. I will say it again, and I will say it until the end of time. Folks, it is not Christmas time. It is Thanksgiving time. Stop overshadowing this glorious holiday of Thanksgiving. Let it live. Let it breathe. Nobody needs 60 days of Christmas. 30 days is plenty. Christmas season starts the day after Thanksgiving and not a moment before. Do not decorate your house. Do not put your tree up. Do not start dressing in green and red and wearing flannel pajamas. It is time for Thanksgiving. the great holiday of November that continues to get shit on. Thanksgiving gives you everything that you want with none of the commercialism or materialism. No one is forced to go out and participate in the rat race and go to malls and buy gifts. This is a wonderful, wonderful holiday, made even better when you make the decision that my family made this year, which is we're done with the turkey, we're going with the ham. And I am so sick of watching Thanksgiving get overshadowed. It's Thanksgiving time, not Christmas time, folks.
I used to agree with that, but I kind of see it differently now. Look, Thanksgiving is great. It's definitely my favorite because it's what Christmas would be without the gift giving. But it's hard not to lump them together because, frankly, Christmas is so big and December is so short that they have to blend into, quote unquote, the holiday season. So I feel like Thanksgiving is the warm-up, and I'm okay with having the decor somewhat overlap. I'm definitely not on team Thanksgiving is under attack. I think it's just Thanksgiving, unfortunately, becomes somewhat of a warm-up and a part of the Christmas season because Christmas is too big for just December. It is. With the gift giving, the Christmas parties, how ramped up everything is. I mean, it happens in a flash. It's over. I think it's all good that they're together. I'm surprised that you like Thanksgiving so much since I feel like all your fellow comrades are coming after it to cancel it because it's racist. It's nice to hear you take that take. What'll be more interesting to see how long you stand on that hill once all the comrades come for her. But hey, I'm a big Thanksgiving guy, but I also believe that it's okay that they kind of cross over a bit. I think it's nice.
I'm not going to dignify your comrade comment with a response, but I will ask you, you are in charge of the Christmas decorations at our office in San Clemente.
Oh, they're going up today.
Oh, they better not.
Yeah, they're going up today. That's on my list. It's on the whiteboard right across from me. I especially wanted them up and really sunken in for your return. That was my goal.
You better not. Moving on. Congrats to the Los Angeles Dodgers who won the World Series. Ryan Engle correctly predicted that the Dodgers would win the World Series. I said the Yankees would, so credit where credit is due.
In my Dodgers group text, right when it happened, you know how you can go to an old message and reply to it, so there's like a timestamp? And in our Dodgers group chat, before Game 1, I wrote, I smell a gentleman's sweep, Dodgers 4-1.
Nice.
And I sent it to the boys, and I was like, you heard it here first, folks.
Yep. Too bad you didn't have that take on this podcast.
I know. Well, I have ADHD, but at least the Dodgers group chat was correct.
The only reason I want to put a bow on this is because we did talk a little bit about the World Series for a couple episodes leading up to it. I don't have much to say other than, one, the series did not live up to the hype. It did for the first couple of games, then it fell off the face of the earth because the Yankees did not show up to play. And two, final point on the World Series, winning on the road sucks. Watching the Dodgers celebrate in Yankee Stadium, this dark, cold New York stadium in October to no fans because they're in New York, that sucks. I wish that they had won at home.
It sucks for a fan like you who isn't a fan of either of those teams. But as a Dodgers fan, that was pretty radical.
Oh, okay. You were into it.
Dude, there's nothing better than silencing the crowd. Shaking your pom-poms is one thing, but when you can get the loudest, most obnoxious people on planet Earth to shut the fuck up, that's a pretty powerful movement.
Okay, well said. Your takes are better than mine today, but that's also because I'm 10% here right now because I was 90% in the bag last night.
Did you call your family late last night when you're drunk? I love you guys, and being away from you makes me realize the dad I want to be.
YouTube comments. Remember, folks, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, great. We love it. Thanks for listening. But if you would like to be read on the show, please go over to YouTube. Leave your comments there. It's the only place that I go and grab comments from. Vintage Golfwear on Freddie Freeman writes, dude wears his pants higher than my Sansa belts, and his teeth look like Matt Dillon from There's Something About Mary.
That's pretty good.
That is really good. Sabian4005 writes, the Ender Dragons win was better than the Miracle on Ice. DJ Twanza writes, I am here for Coach Hawk.
Wow.
And I just want to thank everyone who followed along with the Ender Dragon season. It's over now, and I appreciate everyone that tagged along and let me be self-indulgent for 10 weeks. I did have to go to a kid's birthday party over the weekend. This kid was on our soccer team. She's great. Her parents are great, but we only know them and we only know her. And so when we got there, it was just 2 hours of small talk with other adults that we didn't know. And small talk at a kid's birthday party is quite literally hell on earth.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Is there a worse question than that?
No worse question.
What do you do?
We're not going to get political here, I promise. This is not a political chat. This is merely a with your mind prediction. Let's talk about the election. It's tomorrow. 2 questions for you, Engle. Will the election be decided by the stroke of midnight on Tuesday?
Absolutely not. It's going to take a few days, more time to sell commercials and paper and make us all feel like we're part of something that we're not. We are on the outside looking in. We are not part of the club. I don't know who's going to win. I don't have a prediction. I'll tell you this. I know who's going to lose, and it's the American people. Either which way, I think for the next 4 years, the American people are going to lose. I just hope that we have some better candidates next time around. I think what's obvious to me, and I hope more people are waking up to it, is since she officially was installed to run, not voted for, where did the actual president go? Because it is obvious and it's factually true that that dude is gone. Like, we have a non-present president. They're still doing stuff, and this guy's just under a beach umbrella in Delaware freaking putting baby oil on his man boobs. He's not behind the fucking Oval Office. Clearly, there is a system in charge of things, and my point is that maybe the presidency isn't as real or as big a thing as we're all led to believe. That's my take on everything.
All right, I will remind the audience that the question was, will the election be decided by Tuesday? And that's the answer I got.
You gave me notes last night, so I jumped ahead to the prediction. Sorry about that. But
not a problem.
My God, Adam, can you cut me a break? And I love cutting breaks.
And I love women.
So it sounds like you don't want to make a prediction on who wins, so I guess I can't ask you to predict who wins.
Who do you think? I don't. How can you pick?
Yeah, it's a horrible question.
Yeah, it's a horrible question. It's like, okay, I don't know. I mean, do I say an answer? What does it fucking matter?
Right, and then everyone's going to think that what you say is what you want.
Yeah, the whole thing is so dumb.
Now, if I hadn't already voted, I would tell you right now, the night before the election, that I would vote for any candidate from any party running on the platform of making e-bikes illegal. If somebody came out and said, we are going to get rid of e-bikes, we are going to deport e-bikes, I would say, you have my vote, give me a yard sign and a bumper sticker, I'm all in.
E-bikes are clearly from Satan. Only Satan would be like, how do we make the worst demographic of people in society even more fucking annoying? How do we make teenagers worse than they already are? Oh, I know. Let's give teenagers a motorized bicycle. That's how we do it. And they did it. Kudos, Satan. You got this round. I guess we can talk more when I see you in hell, bud. I'll be wearing trousers. I'll be kicking over all your little fucking cronies' e-bikes.
Love it. November is going to be very busy around here at Nation Golf. New fall holiday drop is just days away. The Vacationer golf bag should be landing and shipping soon. Black Friday is always a hot mess in these parts, and we will have a live television show on YouTube Friday, November 29th. So stay tuned to our Instagram at Nation Golf. Stay tuned to the podcast. We will update you on all of that. But it will be a very, very busy month for us here. It always is. These last 60 days, massive push for Nation Golf. Thank you so much for listening. I apologize for my voice, my cadence, the way we sound together on Zoom. How about a little credit for the boys? Getting a Zoom podcast done while I'm on the road while I'm at a conference, while I am hungover to all hell, and I'm using hotel Wi-Fi. How about a little credit for the boys? Apologies for my voice and the cadence of everything, but hey, free content, free country, free time, and we got it done.
And you love to hear it.
And with that said, folks, we will get back to regularly scheduled. We will get back to regularly scheduled programming on Monday. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you next week.
And I love talking to you.
And I love women.